So I have a story about avocados. When I was in Hawaii a long time ago, and we were visiting this dude's house. This the surfer guy. He lived on this hill, this long hill, or
Mhm.
this hill. Um, and when we first got there, there was this huge kind of dog that came lumbering down the hill, and it was like full on. The body of this dog looked like a barrel. It was so fat. It was the fattest dog. It was just like a normal kind of large dog, like um, the golden retriever or something, but it was fully perfectly round, and it was like trying its best to like get down the hill. And I was like, what is up with that dog? Why is that dog so big? What's the problem with that dog? And the guy's like, oh dude, he loves avocados. He's like, we got an avocado tree, and he's just like eating avocados. And I'm like, I could cut the avocado tree down, but he's like really enjoying these avocados. So it's like, might as well let him enjoy his life and die early and just avocados. And then we'd walk up the hill, and he's trying his best to get up the hill. I was like, dude, I don't know if he loves his life. I don't know if he's like fully enjoying walking up that hill with the body.
For the people who are here watching who don't necessarily know who you are, can you just introduce yourself and say what you do and your Instagram, and talk a little about TinyCon so they know where they can go
Okay.
see what else you're doing this weekend?
Yeah. So my name is Scott Campbell. I oftentimes go by Scott C. I illustrate a number of things. I have a series called the Great Showdowns, which is like a bunch of movie moments of characters and things showing down. They're all very happy usually. Um, and then I have other like picture books that I do. I do a lot of picture books, such as Hug Machine and Sleepy the Goodnight Buddy, things like that, and some art books and stuff. I show a lot of in galleries and everything in LA and other towns. And I also it was a concept artist at Double Fine Productions and did Psychonauts and Brutal Legend and those things. Uh, what else? Worked in some movie things, some cartoon things, just a number of different things. But anyways, right now, so every year I'm at San Diego with Gallery Nucleus usually ever since the 90s. I've been down there. And so this week I've been doing my own little con called TinyCon because it's just a little tiny con, just me and my stuff. And then I just do some hanging out with friends. So I'll be hanging out with you guys today. And then I'm going to have a drawing party tonight with Nathan Stapley and Nate Ballmer and Pequin. On Sunday, we're doing one with Graham Annable and Pendleton Ward and all those guys. And it's going to be a fun, and Julian Marino and Rhodey. We're just going to do all these drawing parties. So on my
Nice.
Twitch. So it'll be just fun times hanging out. And we have like little drawing parties where like we brainstorm inventions and draw famous faces and stuff together. So
Wow. So let's just show people who, just in case they don't know, this is Scott C's showdown here
oh
that
yeah.
he did for this convention that sold out in 14 minutes.
Wow.
Um,
Exciting. Dude, I love how that guy turned out. Especially those
there's,
eyes. Those eyes are like perfect.
yeah.
George nailed it.
Oh, and
They
then
all nailed it. And
a little sneak peek for those of you. So on the back, we actually show what's coming next. So for New York Comic Con, okay, it's really hard to do this backwards and upside down. There's Forrest Gump.
yeah.
And then for DKECON, there's supposed to be Back to the Future. And
Huh?
then for Gallery 1988, at the end of the year, we hope to do Peanuts.
Okay.
And then if you look at these pieces at the bottom, these were first available at Gallery 1988. And I have some sitting right here
Whoa.
oh my God,
They're
look at
big.
that.
They're look at that belly.
It's like blah, 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 blah,
Oh
blah.
belly.
Do,
Oh,
do,
I have to look
do.
it up. What's up,
And
bud?
this actually comes with a little Bill Murray also.
That's right. That comes
Do,
with the
do,
Bill
do.
Murray.
Comes with a signed and numbered print, which is the certificate of authenticity. These are $2,500. They're available at Gallery 1988 right now. The run is being finished, and hopefully they're going to ship in the next month.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
oh, I can show the other one right here.
Yeah. Look at that.
Do-do-do.
Yeah, that.
Also an edition of 10, same price. I can't show you the Godzilla, unfortunately, because the Godzilla that was painted, that was on display at the Gallery 1988 show that you had, was the original, and that one, that paint job, unfortunately got toasted because that had to be cast, and so that they made the mold from that, and those are being pulled right now. So yeah, there's going to be 10 of each of these babies in the world, and there's a bunch that sold at the gallery, and then probably once all the nonsense is over and these are actually in stock, Scott will have them for sale on his site. So
Yeah,
very exciting stuff.
I know. We just have to get in there and start painting soon. That's going to be an intense painting day.
Someone asked, when will Godzilla be available? I think if you go to the Gallery 1988 website right now, you can buy it, and I think my guess it's going to ship in the next, like 6 to 8 weeks, is my guess.
Yeah.
Maybe sooner, but I like to err on the side of longer just so people aren't upset. So can you tell me, like, you mostly do watercolor, right? All of your new work is watercolor. Have you always worked in watercolor, or did you start out in other mediums? Or was that a process? Did you evolve into that?
Yeah, I definitely evolved into that because I remember in university I was really into oils. I was really into painting realistic kind of like Frazetta style oils. That was like my jam in that time. And then after, when my stuff started kind of getting more cartoony and stylized, and then when I graduated, I was like, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So I worked a lot in gouache because a lot of my friends were working in gouache and they did really cool cartoony things, but I could never get the consistency right at gouache. So it always kind of frustrated me. And then I discovered watercolor a while after that, and then that just became my medium of choice because it was like a very non-committal paint. I could just kind of subtly put some color down. I don't have to commit to that color because then I could cover it with a different, brighter color.
Right.
So,
Because I was talking to Lou Pimentel the other day, who does these card backs for us, these watercolors, and he was talking about how it's kind of like a battle. It's like the water wants to do one thing and he wants to do another, and it's got to kind of meet in between. Do you find that same struggle, or do you
yeah.
do you get what you want out of it, or is there some randomness that
Well, I'll say about a fourth of the way into a piece, every single time I get to the point where I start hating it and I'm just trying to salvage it. So then the whole rest of the painting, I'm trying to salvage it. And I'm like, I wait, once I get to like doing my outlines, that's when I feel like, okay, it's better. But then it's always just salvaging it to the end. So it's just trying to figure out how to make that, because it's just very sloppy. My stuff's not very tight at all. So, yeah, I
but
kind of follow.
but that's part of your style. Like, when we're having the figures painted, you're always like, more dirty, just muck that up, like just grungy, make that make that darker and more yucky. It's like that. Those are always your notes.
I know, I like it. That same thing with the video game stuff too. Whenever like when we're designing characters and stuff for the video game stuff, it's always just like trying to wonk it up. I remember when we were making Psychonauts, I was like, in all the characters, my feedback was always like, on the background, just like, it's gotta be wonky, you gotta wonk that up. And then like modelers started getting so pissed at that word, and so I had to change it to a different word. Working with Dave and George, they're like so good at making that janky. I think janky is my word that I use now. Maybe, I don't know.
Janky. See?
I don't know. Is that right? I don't know. But George nails it. Both of those so good at it. So
and so, I mean, you do a lot of different work, but something happened with the Showdowns. Like the Showdowns has just become its own thing. And it's kind of like grown, I don't know, it's like you paint originals for years, and then you have a show at Gallery 1988, and there's like, I don't know, how many pieces do you have in that show? 300?
There's 300 last one, yeah.
300 originals, right? And then like there was a guy waiting in line for a week to be number one to choose.
Yeah, he got Midsummer.
It's like
Robert. That's why he even had a shirt of it too.
It's like, a week? Like, there's a lot of things I want. I normally will not wait for a week. Like,
I used to wait in line for things when I was younger.
but the showdowns kind of draw. Um, I mean, they draw literally, just from existing films. But there's something that you added. I don't know how to say it. There's like this dimension that you add by calling it a showdown, right? I mean, when you have like, you have this dude versus a stapler.
Mhm.
I, I, it's like, um,
Like, where's the showdown in it?
no, I know where the showdown is. People know what the showdown is immediately. Like, it's like, it, I don't know. I guess that when you call it the Great Showdown, it is about conflict, right? And
Yeah.
all movies have conflict.
Mhm.
And um, then the the way you paint them is just they're all just kind of smiling like right before they're going into conflict. And it's like there's something that just I don't know, like captures your imagination. Like it takes like the good character and the most evil character, and they're in a showdown, and like the conflict, there's space between them, there's tension, and then it's like they're smiling and they have happy face and they look kind of janky, and it's like
Was trying to boil it down to just like everyone feeling happy to be in this group, like everyone kind of happy to be a showdown and happy just to kind of like enjoy these moments and stuff. But some of them, like I mean, I don't know. Some of them I think are rougher than maybe like that I had difficult kind of doing. Like I remember when I did Deer Hunter, I was like not sure if that was really in good taste to do that one when they're both at the roulette table, the Russian, playing the
yeah,
death game. I was like, I don't know, dude. It's just like that's a real rough scene. I mean, there's times that you're like, maybe they
right,
shouldn't be happy necessarily, but it's just like, but some of them are also like, they're not necessarily conflict style. It's just like moments of tension. Like maybe it's a
sure,
thing. Like sometime, like maybe at the end of Notebook. I know that's one of your favorite movies. Like when they're like in the rain and they're confronting each other with their love. I mean, that's just a moment of tension between them, right?
it's my
Or like
favorite
in
movie.
Ghost, when like when they're like
It's
when
hilarious.
when they're working with the clay and stuff, but it's
Yeah,
them, it's like two of them versus the little living clay guy. It's like that's the
right.
like the little clay guy's trying to deal with being created while these guys are getting all sexy with them. It's like there's just it's just memorable moments between characters and often things and objects and stuff. But yeah, they're just
Having you explain this is really doing something to me right now. This Marco says here in the chat, he says it's a love letter to the story, I think.
that's exactly
Yes.
right.
So tell me, is Great Showdowns, like, can it keep going? Are you out of movies to do and TV? Like, is
Yeah.
with these last 300, like, how many showdowns are you into, like, all the showdowns you've ever done?
We're nearing 1,000.
Like, so, and I know you repeated themes before, like, there's a lot of Star Wars different ones, and, there's, but like, can, is there any shortage of ideas? Like, can there be another 1,000 showdowns?
Well, there's more than 1,000 movies that exist.
Sure.
Just like, I mean, I bet you that's what I always like tell people if they like, because I think people think maybe I watch a lot of movies or something like that, and I guess I mean I watch a lot of movies, but no more than the normal person. Like if you wrote all the movies down that you've ever seen,
Uh-huh.
it would definitely be more than 1,000. Like you've watched
Sure.
a lot of
Yeah.
movies, so it's like there's a
Um,
lot of movies that exist. It's
I
just like
started,
which ones have good moments to
right.
use.
I started counting about 10 years ago and keeping a list. And yeah, I watch somewhere around about 100 movies a year. Um,
There you go.
and it goes, and the way it goes is like there's like a month where I don't like, and now I think with kids you go to the theater like twice a year, because going to theater has gotten very expensive. Like you're
Mhm.
like, theater tickets are crazy, right? And
Yeah.
then you have like it, you pay a babysitter for 4 hours, like, and then you just, anyway, you'll find out. So I know I hated when before I had kids, when people would say, "Oh, you'll see," and then I'm the dick saying, "Hey, you'll see."
Right,
Um,
right.
so, so you mean to tell me you don't watch extra movies as research to?
Oh, I do. Yeah. Oh,
So, and do you watch the whole movie, like when you did the Reefer Madness? All right, I remember the Reefer Madness. It was the black and white.
yeah. That's not
painting
long.
from the last show? Like, had you already seen that like 20 years ago?
I had seen that when I was younger, yeah, but like I don't remember it. So that's the thing. A lot of them I have to go back and watch. Like I skim them if I had already seen them, and some of them, if like they're tough to watch, like I'll go through and maybe I'll fast forward here and there. I remember, like it took me a long time to watch The Room. You know that movie that everyone loves so much. That's like one of the
The
worst
one that they
movies.
love to hate because it's terrible.
Yeah, and I know there's all these midnight showings, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see. I don't know if I want to see midnight showing because everyone's gonna be reciting it, and that might ruin it for me. But I also
Hmm.
know that maybe it's almost unwatchable. So like when I finally relaxed and settled in, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna probably skim this, and finally
Hmm.
watched it. I was like riveted. It was like I watched the entire thing. I was like so into watching him. He's like that guy is so captivating.
Really?
Like yeah, it's so captivating, dude. I've never seen a character like that. Like his character is incredible.
I have yet to see it.
Dude,
So
I do recommend it. That one
uh,
is up to the hype, I would say, for sure.
and
Like,
is it actually good or it's good because it's
no,
bad?
it's terrible. So the cops. It's on its way to you, actually, probably. You're gonna see that. Um, dude, yeah, man. I think it's terrible. It's definitely bad, but it's fascinating. This one is fascinating bad. It's not like fast forward through it bad. I was like, this is like fun to watch. It is fun to watch that one. So
But you're definitely laughing at it, not with it.
yeah, no, you're laughing at it. And I think it's
Yeah.
fascinating that he eventually like started, saying that he meant to do it and stuff like that. That like he meant to make it like that. Like,
I
dude,
mean, that's hard for people's ego to handle that. Like,
yeah.
it's like if you made artwork and, people liked it because it was so bad, eventually, you know, I talked to Mark Todd yesterday
Oh my
and
God, yeah, I love that guy. He's
and
my favorite
so,
one. My
so
favorite.
he had he's got a zine called Badasses,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
And inside Badasses is Mark Singer's character from Beastmaster, right? And
mm-hmm,
so he meets Mark Singer at a convention and shows him the zine or whatever and asks him to sign it. And the guy looks at him and says, "Hey man, keep up the good work. You'll get better." And it's like, okay. I mean, it's like it's just
mm-hmm.
everyone's got a different it's
Well,
when
my favorite rip on my work is like I remember reading somebody making fun of my work,
Mhm.
where he's like, oh man, this is really good. I can't wait to see what he does when he graduates third grade.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like when I was talking to Mark Todd about that yesterday is like there he has what he calls like his work is he calls it naive or innocent.
Not even innocent.
uh, and the thing is, and what I described to him is when I first saw his figure was that was that was something that you wish that you had created when you were 12, but a 12-year-old could never have created that.
I mean,
People look at a Jackson Pollock and they say, "Oh, a 5-year-old could do that." And it's like, no, dude,
I know. Well, it's the
no.
same thing as like Tim and Eric comedy or something like that. Like everyone looks at Tim and Eric and you're like, dude, that's just crazy non sequitur junk, but it's incredibly funny and brilliant, and everyone thinks they can do it, but no one can do that. Like it's very rare that you could do that like kind of, it's got this certain kind of vibe to it that, and I feel like
Mhm.
Mark Todd is the same thing. He's just like, his stuff is so good. It's got like the perfect rough life to it that is
So,
like, I don't think anyone can just do it, but everyone thinks they can do it. They're like, I can draw a crappy R2D2 like that, but no
so
one can. It's perfect art.
did you have this style? You said that when you were in school, you were doing gouache and oils, trying to do. Um, did you do any watercolor in school? Like, did your work look like this at all at
No,
that age?
no.
No, this is something that totally evolved after.
Yeah, it evolved after, because in school I was trying to be like, I was really into Alphonse Munka and like John Singer Sargent and stuff. Like I was trying to be like that, and I wanted to draw X-Men. I told you this, right? Like I
No,
wanted to do
never.
X-Men and Batman. I did a bunch of pages, and I wanted to draw X-Men, and so I would go to comic book conventions with I had a Batman, a Vampirella, and an X-Men page that I would take around, and I came very close, um, talking to Dark Horse about doing an Aliens Predator book. Like I was about
Wow.
to do it, and then it was right after college, and I was too lazy and unmotivated, and it
Uh-huh.
failed, and it didn't go through. And then I started working at Lucas doing like game stuff. And then I was like started getting exposed to other comics. I was really into 8 Ball and Yikes. And I was
Uh-huh.
really into Shag and Joe Soren and all these other people that kind of like I started shaping my stuff a little bit more. And I was like kind of sick of drawing, like trying to draw realistic. And then I was really into drawing like lively lines, lively colors and stuff. I was really into like kind of 50s design, how like all the line work is all janky, you know.
Uh-huh.
So then I started trying to really purposely have real shaky line work. And I think
Uh-huh.
like that kind of started loosening everything up. So it became what it is
Uh-huh.
today, because for a
And
while like those lines were like really trying to be like tight janky lines, like all those like Jim Flora and all those designers and stuff like that. But so I don't know, it's a combination of all these influences after then that time, but
wow.
slowly turned
And
into that.
so so what's next? What's the future look like for Scott C?
Well, I have this kind of like young adult graphic novel series that I'm trying to get off the ground. Um, that I'm trying to finish that pitch, and then still working on the Psychonauts, the sequel to Psychonauts,
Uh-huh.
which will come out next year. Um, and uh, and besides that, just like trying to keep doing more books, and then more shows and stuff. And so a lot of the same things. But I would like to do some more moving image stuff. Like I would like to do some cartoons and things.
Uh-huh.
So, but that takes a long time. So
Yeah. You don't strike me as like the Hollywood dude. I know all these Hollywood people, and they're like, I don't want to say they're not nice. They just communicate in a different way, and they have different like expectations. And I've just seen so many artists that like once they start to interact with Hollywood, either they like, I don't know. How's your experience been so far?
I don't know. It's been fun. I mean, I don't know. It's been fine, but I think it's most. I've seen some wonderful things come out of Hollywood that and comes out of like wonderful cartoons and wonderful like. It's a good time to create, I think, but it just takes a lot of time. Is all. Like I mean, working on.
Bradley Frank here says, like me, Dove? No, not like you, Bradley Frank. We still love you.
What do you say? What's wrong with him? Oh, is he?
No, because he works in Hollywood or has.
Okay, yeah. No, Hollywood's great. Hollywood's fine. I'm fine with
Yeah.
it. I'm not as pessimistic.
And like, it's just like, when I was talking to Dan Goodsell the other day, he was talking about, his interactions with people. And, I asked him hypothetically, like, would he sell Mr. Toast? And it
Mm,
was like, his comment was, he wanted to do stuff where he could, he had an idea of what Mr. Toast should be. And that once they take your idea, I said, well, can't you be involved? And he said, well, for the most part, like, his experience is that when like creators in Hollywood, they usually take the idea and give it to somebody else.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then
that's
they're
true.
not, you know, I don't know. There's a few exceptions, of course, but we're I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, if it's something that you really care about, then I think it's. I mean, you have to hang on to it till it's like just the right combination of
Hmm.
director and writer and stuff like that. Like I mean, I could certainly see making something like that, but yeah, you do have to like let it go. But that's like, but it seems like that's the same thing as if any with any project, a game or movie, like if you make the right team, like if you build the right team of people that to create it, then you could feel because you can't do everything. I wouldn't if I was making a cartoon, I certainly wouldn't be able to do everything. So you have to just have
Sure.
people that you respect that can make all that stuff happen, and hopefully it's like the executive people might not participate as much, but I don't know
Right.
how you make that happen. I know that even in the beginning, like of Adventure Time, when Penn was working on that, like they didn't trust him at all.
Hmm.
So they put Craig McCracken on it to help him out,
Hmm.
and then eventually Craig was on it, and he's like, dude, this is like great, this is fine, but they just needed someone to approve it, someone to say like, just let this person do their thing that
Right.
knows, like, because no one right like in the beginning is going to be trusted, even if it's like your own IP and stuff like that. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
It's hard when there's so much money at stake. I
yeah,
mean, there's just
I get
it's
it.
like you have to trust in this one person, and then the money people get kind of nervous.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think if they put the right person on it, then that's be fun to watch. like to see someone interpret that. That's something I always liked about David Lynch too. Like David Lynch would always like his deal was giving giving the actors and giving everyone kind of the idea of like let them kind of interpret it however they wanted to interpret, and then he would kind of catch those moments that like he'd be like, well, what do you think I should do, like, oh, what do you think, like his like go for it, which was like I think actors love working with him because of that, because they just
Yeah.
they're able to be creative and he chooses them for a reason because he knows that they can kind of create something new from these ideas. And I don't know.
I don't know. I used to be the biggest David Lynch fan, and then I went to a screening. What was that movie with Laura Dern?
Oh
Just
yeah,
the one that just went on too long.
I didn't see it.
Um,
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive. So it was after like Lost Highway. Like he had me. I was into it. Like it just captured my imagination. And then once it wasn't Mulholland Drive that was so kooky. I mean, it was nonsensical.
Inland Empire.
Inland Empire.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one that goes way off the rails.
Inland Empire. And so he's standing. I'm at the Egyptian Theater or Cinerama Dome or somewhere, and it's one of those screenings, and he's talking about it. And it was pretty clear to me that he was, in the questions that he refused to answer and the questions that he did answer, that that he was there specifically just to screw with the audience, and that he was sort of laughing at the audience because he was making something that made no sense, and then people are just like it literally made no sense to him, and he didn't care. And the people who are like trying to analyze and running around in circles, and it just saw him as this like master manipulator, like and I just felt like the puppet, and then I got turned off. And, and I watched him walk into like the Academy Awards one year, and Roger Ebert like started to ask him a question about what something meant, and then he just sort of freaked out, and he's like, come on, Roger, you can't ask me those. No, sorry. It's like, Roger, you can't ask me those questions. He's like, I don't answer those questions. And it's like, starting with Eraserhead, he's just like, I'm just going to make like the weirdest movie, and I'm not going to explain it. And you're just going to, and that's interesting art form in and of itself. But when I felt like I was being laughed at the audience member, that's when he lost me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've never seen Inland Empire for that reason. But yeah, usually, I mean, he's not like the best at ending necessarily, but I think like what I always loved about him is like it is about the experience of the movie. Like sometimes if there's kind of this like things that you can kind of figure out as you go, but it's a pretty amazing feeling, I guess, that I get.
Sure.
Like it's an
I mean, that's what it's all about. It's like he's creating an emotion, not really a story. I guess that's why Lost Highway is one of my favorites, because there is a skeleton of a story there, but it seems like he made a 4-hour movie, chopped out 2 hours to make it nonsensical, and then you're trying to figure out, and then you have to just stop trying to figure out and just like, because that movie's like cuckoo bananas.
It is cuckoo bananas. I just saw I opened this chat and someone said Straight Story. Straight Story is probably the most normal thing that he made.
Yeah, that was really went against type there, didn't it? Yeah. There was Dune also, right?
Oh yeah, Dune. That's right. I still haven't seen that documentary about what's it, Jaworski?
Jodorowsky. Oh, it's fantastic.
I gotta watch.
Oh, because that story was like it was Salvador Dali and Giger and like all these actors and
crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's totally worth seeing. Anyway, it's getting to be about that time. I just want to thank you for taking the time. Good luck at TinyCon this weekend. Congratulations on your sellout.
Thank you, man.
That was Elephant Man. You're right. Elephant Man's probably one of my favorites.
Ooh, that's a good one. Elephant Man.
Yeah. But no, I still think I'm a Lost Highway guy. But still.
Lost Highway's like I think 4th or 5th place for me. It's not one of my faves, but I liked it. Bill Pullman, he's a good guy. My wife just introduced me to the Bill Pullman, the rom-com. Oh shoot!
Oh yeah.
I'm getting introduced to all the rom-coms right now. I'm gonna have to be playing that one. Oh. I can't remember the name. But thanks for having me, dude. This is so fun.
Hey, man, I really appreciate it. Maybe we'll do this again for New York. I can't imagine that New York Comic Con is going to happen. The other thing I want to talk to you about is, since we keep selling out, I'm wondering if for the Forrest Gump release, if we should just keep orders open for 24 hours and just see how many orders we get.
Yeah.
We could cap it, but I feel like I'm just getting emails from people like, oh, I missed my showdown. And
I think
we're going to do, I'm sorry?
I think time is good.
Yeah.
That sounds
just,
I'd like to talk about this, like, for everyone to hear this private conversation of how the toy is going to.
Yeah. It's like, I'm the secret. We're the puppet masters. All right, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Great. Talk to you guys later.
Take care. Well, boys and girls, this was so much fun. Love Scott C.